Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-hosts, my partners in crime. It's kind of weird to say this because we haven't done this in a while. We really haven't. It's been a lot of interviews with people, but joined with Nate Green and John Craine. Nate, get out of here. John, what's up? It's been a while. How you doing?
Oh man, I thought this afternoon when I thought about doing this, you were going to ask me that question, and I was going to tell you something really big, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, well, I did meet Davey Roberts. Went to a Cal State Fullerton game against LMU, which I think I told you guys I was going to go to that game.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife's alum, and the coworker who like dropped that he went to the Fullerton game. I thought, oh my gosh, it's right here. Why am I not going? And I looked it up and happened to just be LMU. So my wife was in. And so we're sitting there probably about 4 or 5 innings in. And my wife finally looks at me and she goes, John, she goes, does that guy over there look familiar to you? Literally about 8 seats away from us. Does he look really familiar to you? And I was talking to parents of LMU parents sitting behind him. And she goes, I can't place it. And I go, yeah, that's Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts, the manager of the Doctors. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Does his son go to LMU or Cal State Fullerton?
Yeah,
no, he goes to LMU.
Second base.
I think he's
second base.
Sophomore or junior right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's good.
He was playing. And one of the most, the coworker who told me about it, he showed up around the 7th inning. He just after work, whatever, he was working, and he walked in after it was free. He didn't have to pay. And his son hit it was just a single, but it was a 2-run single because I think the bases were loaded. And Dave Roberts is sitting there with his cell phone, and he's going like this, like he's all excited. His son is 5'5". It's like it's very cool to see. He's a big pro and big manager, but that's his son. It was
Did you go Friday night, John?
No, we went Saturday night.
Okay, I was going to say, did you stay for I think they played like 15 innings on Friday.
15 innings, the game, because I was talking to the LMU parents that were sitting pretty close to us when we sat down. I always start talking to people because they all had LMU stuff, and I showed my wife had a hat. She's got her LMU, this isn't it, but she has an LMU hat that she got David Fletcher to sign because David Fletcher went to LMU. And then she had Dave Roberts sign that hat also. And but anyways, I asked them, and they said they got out of there at 1:30 in the morning.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
sounds like college baseball.
Pretty normal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it was. It was a very nice guy. He was just like a parent in the stands. But when we talked to him, he just sign. What do you want me to sign? Sign the hat. And here's the funny thing: I went to my car to get a Sharpie because I couldn't. My wife always carries a Sharpie. She's a teacher. She always says she didn't happen to have a Sharpie. So, and we're looking over. She said, I have a Sharpie in my car. So I ran to my car. I went to the parking lot, came back. In my car, I always have a baseball because I'm tired of being caught. Like when I run into somebody to sign my ball. So I grabbed the ball. I go, I'll take this too. And I put it in my pocket. And I come running in. And it wasn't until later that we talked to him. Yeah. I just had a baseball in my pocket the whole night. I didn't even remember to pull it out. So when I left, I'm all like, oh, what's this big bulge in my pocket? So anyways, I didn't get it signed, but whatever, my wife did. So it's very cool.
I met Dave down in San Diego, one of the best people in baseball. He's a great guy. He really is. What you see on the field is really kind of what you get. And what you get in interviews is really kind of what he is. He's just an all-around nice person. He really is.
Sadly, one of the most underrated managers in baseball.
That too. But he's just a great guy. He really is.
I was talking to my coworkers, most who are Dodger fans, and just always debating how ridiculous it was that they went to 2 World Series and didn't win. And, you still people, I guess that's today. People talk about like, oh, we need to get rid of Roberts. He made a bad decision here. And that's okay. And finally he's won it. So I guess he might be safe for a few years. But, how long did Tommy Lasorda manage? And I never once heard in my anybody ever say we should get rid of Tommy Lasorda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was also a little bit more of a character too. Tommy was just like, everyone loved that guy. So, I think it's a little different, but Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yes, I get it. I think it's just kind of a what have you done for me lately type of thing when it comes to management. Like this is what that's kind of why Sosha got ran out in a sense, you know. And I mean, eventually that's if Madden doesn't do anything, that's why Madden's going to get ran out. I mean, they're good managers, but at the end of the day, you know, that's why I hate football. You know, I feel like they just recycle. It's kind of brutal. It's kind of brutal. So, guys, let's get to the question of the day here. I know we've been talking a little baseball. The question of the day, I'm going to sidetrack us here because I've had a little bit of a sweet tooth. What's your favorite candy? You got a favorite candy here, guys? Nate?
I do. Right now, it's Reese's and it's unwrapped. It's the best thing ever because it doesn't take you 2 minutes to get them unwrapped. You just put them in the freezer and you open up it. Oh my gosh. They're like the little mini Reese's. Oh yeah. Those things. And there's like a good amount. You know how sometimes you eat the Reese's and there's like 2 of them. And you're like, did I really waste like $5 on 2 little circles?
Yeah.
But no, this is worth it.
That's fair. That's fair. John, favorite candy? You got a favorite candy bar?
Okay, I'll go a chocolate bar, and then I'll go a hard candy or a chewy candy. My favorite bar is a Skor bar, SKOR. It's a toffee bar.
Yeah.
And my favorite hard candy is Good and Plenty. Maybe not a popular choice, but I love me some Good and Plenty.
Hey, that's fine. I'm an O. Henry fan. Anytime I can get an O. Henry bar, that's what I'm a big fan of those. Hard to find them. But yeah, O. Henry. It's little. I think it's brown. I think it's fudge brownie or something like that, and more chocolate and caramel. Yeah, delicious. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos. Making it through the lockout with us, and we had a lot of fun guests on. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Still working on getting more and more guests on as well throughout the season. Guys, if you could follow us wherever you guys are listening, I guess, or watching, subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. It's been a blast doing this YouTube stuff as well. And of course, follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow myself on Twitter at Jared_Tims. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34 and John at Jegs Craine. John, because I know John's been on there a lot more lately. It's like I said, it's refreshing to see John on there. I like when John things are good when John's on Twitter. Things are good on John.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. Just again, thank you so much for listening here at Talking Halos. So, guys, let's start the day off. The Angels have made some moves. Signed a right-handed reliever, or left-handed reliever. Nate, is that
right-handed?
We had a huge discussion about this before because I thought it was somebody else.
Right-handed reliever. I was right in who I thought it was.
Yeah, Cesar Valdez, righty.
Flamethrower.
He's a right-handed Alex Claudio. I'm going to be completely frank with you guys. It's a right-handed Alex Claudio.
He touches 86.
He's okay. Right-handed Alex Claudio. I'm cool with it. That's fine. AJ Ramos, another guy, didn't make it up to the major leagues. He was with the Angels last year, played all in AAA. I was hoping to see him because he has a good track record. And I know AAA is not the easiest place, but that's a depth piece that I'm okay with. I know Nate and I talk about depth pieces. He's been good in the past, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with bringing him back. They signed Austin Romine today, brother of former Angels first-round pick Andrew Romine. Was he a first-rounder, I think? Second-rounder? I don't know.
I wasn't going to say first round.
I don't know what it was, but Andrew Romine, former shortstop, former infielder for the Angels. His brother signed. He's a catcher, infamous for the Miguel Cabrera fight as well, by the way, for those of you wondering about that one. And they also, the big signing, I think I missed one other guy in there, but the big signing for the Angels over the past couple of days, a 1-year major league deal to backup catcher Kurt Suzuki. And you can hear it in my voice.
Romine was a fifth rounder, but
was he?
I don't even think he was a fifth rounder out of ASU. I don't think your last comment deserves a response.
I know.
Cal State Fullerton. He's just there.
Yes.
Kurt Suzuki, yes.
Alumni. Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that Kurt Suzuki is a former Cal State Fullerton Titan when I think he won a national championship with them as well. And I enjoy the fact that he is a SoCal guy, and I enjoy the fact that Shohei Ohtani likes him, but there is no reason for him to get a major league deal or to get a raise
increase.
or to get a raise. He made $1.5 million last year. He's getting $1.75 million. I honestly, I just kind of wanted, this was like kind of our first topic here. I just wanted to talk about this because I thought Perry Minasian has had a fantastic offseason up until this point. I really did. And I don't know what your guys' thought about that. John, I know it's just Kurt Suzuki. I know it's a backup catcher, but what are your thoughts on the Kurt Suzuki signing?
Nothing, I was here because I was scrolling and I'm still scrolling them again, the Angels rumors. None of the names you guys have dropped I've seen on here. Kurt Suzuki, is a backup catcher. I don't think there's anybody in Angel Land going, all right, now Snyder guard with Kurt Suzuki. Nothing's exciting me here. The Snyder, our most exciting signing is a guy who's coming back from surgery, and hopefully, pray, but it's not the big signing people are looking for.
No, absolutely not. And you look at it over the last 3 years, Kris Suzuki has negative 15 runs extra. Strikes, I think, is what the baseball savant stat is. That's pitch framing. For those of you who are wondering that. Negative 15, that's not very good. I'll say that much right there, especially as a backup catcher. And so this is, and Max Stassi, by the way, has 15 runs extra saved. I know, Nate, go ahead and talk if you want. I'm going to play devil's advocate on the Kurt Suzuki signing.
You try.
I'll try.
I wish you the best of luck.
I will.
I think you have a better shot trying to convince people that the Dodgers are going to finish in last place this year. So, Kurt Suzuki, first of all, why do we bring him back for? Second of all, we give him a raise? That's like saying you were the worst player in baseball last year. Not only are we going to give you a major league contract, we're going to give you more money to suck at playing baseball.
That's the exact opposite. It would be like saying, Shohei Ohtani, you won MVP last year. Here's a demotion. Go play in AAA.
Pretty much.
That's what it's like.
It's unbelievable. We're going to give him a raise? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know. If it was a minor league deal, you probably could have convinced me that it was a decent sign. But the major league deal and then the raise, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, do we want to win baseball games? I have been the biggest guy yelling about catchers for, I don't know, 2-3 years now, Jared. I think saying Max Stassi coming off the hip surgery, you've seen how that has affected catchers, and they're not able to catch 160 games. There was only one catcher last year that was able to catch that many games, and it was Salvador Perez.
Salvador Perez was a very bad defender, by the way, as well.
Yes.
Very bad.
JT Realmuto got hurt. Buster Posey, he had some injuries. I mean, you go through it. Gary Sanchez didn't get to play every day. You go through every single catcher, and there's really only a couple guys who played more than 150 games. So with Max Stassi, again, it's his second year off the hip injury, and I think that is the worst injury for a catcher because that is their livelihood. They are living and really living in that squat position, really putting a lot of pressure on the hips and the mobility and all that stuff that it takes to catch on a daily basis is very tough on the body. And so my biggest thing is if we are lucky, he's going to catch 100 games. Most likely, 80 games. He's going to catch about 80 games is like the realistic number. So that means you're asking Kurt Suzuki, who Joe Madden came out and said today is a good backup, to catch half of the year. A good backup should not catch half the year. A good backup should catch 30, 40, 50 games.
I'd say 60 games at most.
At most. But I'm saying, the good catchers are catching 120 games. So that's 40 games.
At the end of the day, that's like that's a platoon situation, essentially.
It is a platoon.
and catcher probably should be a platoon position nowadays.
Which I'm fine.
If you're a good hitter, you're getting moved off of the catching position. You're going to first base or something like that, just so they can save your knees and you can play longer. That's why you don't have very many good hitting catchers anymore, in a sense. And also because, you want a good catcher back there. Like the name is the description of the job. Like you're supposed to catch, and that's That's what Max Stassi does well. That's why, again, why we don't see very many very good hitting catchers. There are some good hitting catchers out there. But again, I mean, you can flip the scripts. That's why there's not very many good hitting pitchers, because that's what you do. You get paid to pitch. You don't get paid to hit. So yeah, it's tough.
There's
I'll play
probably
devil's.
like 10, 15 good catchers that hit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're an
that's half
average
the
hitter,
league.
if you're an average hitter, if you're batting 250 with 10, 15 home runs in 100 games, 120 games, and you're batting in the 7-8 hole, like, you're a good hitting catcher. You're solid. You're getting on base like at a 320 to 340 clip. You're good. You're a good all around catcher. You're probably not playing that good of defense, but you're probably a decent.
I mean, Rio Muto is the exception to the rule. Wilson Contreras kind of the exception to the rule.
Yes.
Buster Posey was kind of the exception to the rule.
But those guys are good catchers, though, too. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. They're the exception to the rule of, typically, if you're a good hitting catcher, you're not a good catcher. And I'm saying they're the exception, so not the rule itself. So, but yeah, it's very frustrating to see this guy back.
I'll play devil's advocate
here.
I'm going to play devil's advocate just a little bit here, because
you try.
I'll try. And I'm the first guy to say that I don't like this signing at all. And I'll be blunt, I don't like the signing. Like, it is what it is. However,
doing a heck of a job with this devil's advocate so far.
However, you paid what was our one, like, saving grace with Albert Pujols? Who stood next to Albert Pujols every single time?
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
You can't use this one when the guy is not good.
You paid Albert Pujols how much money? How much money did you pay Albert Pujols?
$30 million a year.
Okay. And Albert Pujols is basically putting up the same production as Kurt Suzuki, correct? So basically, in a sense, and I know that Albert Pujols is a much better hitter.
But Kurt Suzuki doesn't have the profile of Albert Pujols. He wasn't the
but in the clubhouse,
position.
You are the exact. Kurt Suzuki is Albert Pujols in the clubhouse for $29 million less. I understand that you overpaid him a raise, but if you're looking for a clubhouse presence, which was a huge issue for the Angels down the road in the last couple of years, and Kurt Suzuki is that saving grace, and Dexter Fowler was that saving grace as well in the clubhouse. For $1.7 million, like I said, that's just kind of, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not the one. I don't think it's a good signing. I'm just saying that if he is good with the pitching staff and he is good in the clubhouse, it is okay-ish. For $1.75 million, I would rather see it
in the clubhouse.
I would rather see it. I would rather see Kurt Suzuki on a minor league deal and just against Austin Romine and say, hey, you two duke it out in spring training. Whoever wins it, wins it. And I don't care about I don't care about our pitching staff. I would much rather see, back-to-back or two minor league deals there and say, hey, one of you guys is going to platoon with Max Stassi. One of you guys can go to AAA or sign with a major league team. I would much rather see that. But however, my one saving grace is that he fills a need that the Angels have, which is a leadership in the clubhouse that the Angels just do not have, unfortunately.
Who also fits that need?
What?
Robinson Chirinos.
Well,
same exact guy. And he's making $900,000.
I agree. I don't like the signing, Nate. I don't like the signing. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because
I'm just saying you're not doing a good job with the devil's advocate.
I know. Hey, John, I just want to say, if you muted Nate, you'd have convinced me.
That was the only shot you had.
If you just muted him because he kept interrupting with counterpoints, it's like what you said to me made absolute sense. I was buying into it, but Nate kept interjecting.
I wasn't going to let him.
For $29 million less, he's doing the exact same thing as Albert Pujols did for $29 million less. That's the way that I look at it. And yes, Kris Suzuki is not a good defensive catcher. The stats prove it. Kris Suzuki did not hit very well for minus the 25-game stretch that somehow he went like 8 for 25 and hit 3 home runs during that stretch, I think is what it was. He had a good 25 at-bat stretch. That was it. He is not a good player. I'll say that now. What we don't see is what he does in the clubhouse, what he talks to with Shohei Ohtani, what he talks to with the pitching staff. Do I trust him catching Noah Syndergaard? Absolutely not. Do I trust him catching Shohei Ohtani? Absolutely not. But the things that he says to them make sense. Would I rather see that as a coach or on a minor league deal? Absolutely, 100%. I think that Kurt Suzuki finds a way to return as an Angels coach down the road as well. Somehow, SoCal guy, played at Cal State Fullerton. He's going to be a fantastic manager at some point as well, I think. I think that Kurt Suzuki gets a managerial job. But, like I said, it's not a good signing at the end of the day. If I was playing devil's advocate, like I said, it's a leadership thing. It's a total leadership thing. I know it's a Joe Madden thing. I know Joe Madden already said he likes him. End of story there.
Backup catcher.
Not a good backup catcher. Very good fourth catcher that helps in AAA with the young guys.
If you wanted the Albert Pujols thing, you would have had a better chance of selling me on a Dexter Fowler minor league contract.
If you wanted the Albert Pujols thing, you just go get Albert Pujols again on a 1-year, $5 million deal and let him hit against lefties. He wouldn't return for that because the Angels
ended.
blew it, on that end. Yeah.
This is terrible. Let's move on. I'm over this one.
That's fine. That's fine. John, do you have anything else you want to say on that front? We have more arguing, I think, to do with this starting pitching thing that we got to talk about.
No, I'm good. I'm good on that one. Like I said, I like your points, but I realized they were just devil's advocate points. Yeah. Again, you're calling it. If Nate's right, we're really talking about a platoon situation more than a backup. So that could be. I could see that being troublesome. But I did want to ask one question. So does Ohtani like him or not? Because that's all I've heard was Ohtani like him. You guys kind of shot that down at the beginning. Did Ohtani have anything to do with this?
We don't know. I don't.
From a person standpoint, I would say yes.
Yes.
From like a friend standpoint, I would say yes. Does he like to throw to him? I would say no.
Oh, okay. Well,
because there were times where like Ohtani threw to him last year and like it did not go well. His worst starts were with Kurt Suzuki.
Yeah, and I think it was like a 1 ERA difference almost between Kurt Suzuki and Max Stassi catching him. Granted, Stassi only caught him for 5 games or something like that, and Suzuki I think caught 20 of his starts or something. I don't know what it was, but it was something like that. But it was a pretty noticeable difference between Suzuki and Max Stassi catching him. And again, numbers don't lie. So, let's get on to the next topic here. Big topic in Angels social media news. We had the two trades happen. Over the last week, we saw Sonny Gray and a prospect, was it, go to the Minnesota Twins for Chase Petty, former first-round pick by the Twins last year. Upper 90s with a good slider, changeup in the works there out of high school. 26th pick, I think, for the Twins last year. Then we saw Chris Bassett go from the Oakland A's. I think he was 26th pick. Go and look for me.
I will double check you, but because – the only reason I would say he wasn't the 26th pick is because the Twins haven't won a playoff game since 2006. So it's really hard to be. I think it was like 21st. But
I think he was ranked 26th. Sorry. I think he was ranked 26th. And then we saw Chris Bassett go to the Mets, which tipped the cap to the Mets and Billy Epler. That'll be something else we talk about down the road is the Mets and Mariners. But on the other, Chris Bassett, another starting pitcher that I believe the Angels had to have been in on at some point, going to the Mets in exchange for JT Ginn and another prospect, JT Ginn, very similar profile to Chase Petty. We got the upper 90s fastball with a good slider, changeup in the works. We're still debating if both those guys might be starters, both those guys might be relievers. It's a very similar profile to Sam Bachman. That's why I'm mentioning these guys right here. So first off, the question that starts this all off is, would you guys trade Sam Bachman for either one of these guys? 6 years of Sam Bachman for 1 year of Chris Bassett, or 2 years of Sonny Gray? I guess 1, possibly 2. There's an option there for Sonny Gray. John, I'll let you do a little research because I see you looking at your computer, probably doing some research.
Yeah.
It was 26th pick, by the way.
Was it?
Yes.
Nate, what do you got on this? What are you thinking?
So this is not a trade I would do for Chris Bassett. I love Chris Bassett. He's a very good pitcher. The one thing I love about Chris Bassett is he has been very dependable. You can basically punch in his numbers before the year, and he's basically going to hit those numbers. But to give up our second top pitching prospect, or top pitching prospect, depending on how you want to look at it, top right-handed pitching prospect is what we'll say, for 6 years. And the worst part about it is you're giving it up to a division rival, which could end up biting you in the long run. You could go and give him to Oakland, and Chris Bassett.
How often has that happened too? Where you
look
happens somewhere and the Angels made a trade and it's like, oh, Gene Segura is doing good, or Tyler Skaggs, or Patrick Corbin's doing good in Arizona.
You know who everyone loves to bring up? Mike Clevenger. Like they all
I
love
hate
to
that.
bring up Clevenger for
I
Vinny
hate it.
Pistano trade. They love to, but I'm not saying that's a good thing. But that is the one thing that everyone loves to bring up.
That's fair.
And he wasn't even a top 2 prospect. So could you imagine what happens to a team who everyone complains about having no pitching, and we go and trade a kid who we would have for 6 years? He goes to a division rival, and not only does he pitch well, but he pitches good enough where the Angel fans are like, wow. And the worst part about it is Chris Bassett does not make the Angels a World Series contender. He makes them maybe a playoff contender, which at that point, I'm not giving up a number 2 prospect and the top right-handed pitching prospect in the Angels org for a guy who might get me to the playoffs. Might.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the exact point right there I mean, I made it on Twitter. I wasn't very happy with that. Nobody was very happy with me when I said it, but Chris Bassett and Sonny Gray do not put you into might not even put you into the playoffs when it's all said. It might. But they do not make you a World Series contender. You know, if you're going to go get somebody, you need to go get a top tier pitcher. You know, not Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, Herman Marquez, Shane Bieber. One of those guys, you need to go.
I would even say Zach Plesac or Aaron Savali. Like I would say any Indians, the top 3 pitchers in Cleveland. You could go get a guy from Miami who is better than those 2 guys and younger and everything. I mean, you could go get John Means, who's better than the 2 guys that we just mentioned. So
the Angels aren't in the right spot to be making that trade for one of those guys, for a 1-year guy yet. If it was in July and the Angels were like, all right, like this team could make the playoffs, and the difference, and Sonny Gray is the difference between the Angels making the playoffs and not making the playoffs, I think they make a trade like that. Or Chris Bassett is that in July. But I don't think that is the move you can make right now. I don't think Sam Bachman is the guy to be trading away there. And back to what I was saying, you either need to go get one of those 3 guys that's a legit dude. You need to go get somebody who is an absolute game changer. Like he's going to make you for sure a playoff contender. And then in July, you need to go fill another spot or 2, then that's fine, you know, when it's all said or done. Or you need to go get depth pieces. You go get Matthew Boyd. You go fill AAA, and you go fill the spring training roster with these depth pieces that could work out for you, or that could give you a certain amount of innings during the season. You know, the Matthew Boyds, the Danny Duffys, I'm trying to think of other guys. Carlos Martinez, but he already signed. I know we'd really like Carlos Martinez. So I know. I wanted Carlos Martinez. But yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to trade for either one of those guys. And John, I know you're sitting there waiting to speak. So what do you got for us?
Well, Nate actually answered my question, because I was going to lead off with the question: Does this trade of our future make us a playoff team, or even make us? Is that the ace that we need? And you both answered it that it's not the ace that we need. It does sound appealing to go to the playoffs, but if that's all we do is go first round and out, and then so I think as hungry as Angels fans are for the playoffs, I don't think that they're, that's something that could come back and bite us in the butt again. And so, So
it's funny too, when you think about Angels in the playoffs, the last time they made the playoffs, they played Kansas City in the first round. They got swept. They won 102 games, I believe, correct? Or was it 101? They won at least 100 games that year. People were still upset with that season.
They were expected. They were the best team in baseball. They were expected to win the World Series that year.
But I'm saying, like, as an Angel fan, like, everyone comes out and says, like, oh yeah, we'd be happy if we just made the playoffs. We would make the playoffs, get swept by Tampa Bay, and you would hear all the cries in the world saying, why in the heck did we make this trade? We didn't even win a playoff game. This is so dumb. We suck. Why did we sign this guy? Why did we do this? And we're going to be in the same exact position as if we didn't make this trade, except we might actually be better off in the future.
Yeah.
You're not talking about Angels fans, right? That doesn't sound like Angels fans at all.
No, sorry. Other LA teams. It was Dodger fans. My bad.
I mean, I watched some of this stuff on social media, the way these people talk. It's the constant barrage of Artie needs to sell the team. Like, that's something that can happen. Like, the commissioner says, you know what, Artie, you need to sell the team because your fans don't like you. It's not going to happen unless Artie wants to sell the team. But I mean, I don't have a list. You guys get it. I mean, how many teams have not won a World Series since before 2003? I mean, it's not that easy to do. Now, with endless money, I mean, I understand we have a lot of talent, but Angels fans, just some of these guys are just like every year. And I could certainly see that. We go first round and out, and we've traded this future. Those same people will be, why did you trade this? Why did you trade? Look at him now. He's over on whatever, Pittsburgh, whatever. Or worse yet, Seattle or Oakland. Or
It's Gene Segura. It's the Zach Greinke trade all over again. It's the like I said, it's the Mark Trumbo trade. It's the Hector
Even the Mark
Sandoval
Teixeira trade. Like
Mark Teixeira trade. It's exactly. It's anything.
We made the playoffs with Tex, and we lost, and it was still like, oh man, we gave up way too much to get Mark Teixeira, and it was like we might have not made the playoffs without Mark Teixeira that year. He went off. Or
the Andrelton Simmons trade. It's like, oh, look how good Sean Newcomb would have been for the Angels.
Sean Newcomb was terrible in Atlanta. Like, it didn't really help us because Andrelton Simmons was a very good defender, but didn't hit. And it was like, oh man, we could have done so much more with this. And like, okay.
Last thing here, and I do want to put this out there because it's interesting to think about, and it's something I don't know if Nate and I have even talked about this before, but an ace does not fit the Angels mold. As weird as that sounds. We've talked about this before. An ace does not fit the Angels mold. A guy who's going to go out there and throw 200 innings, Max Scherzer, and this is going to sound super weird. Max Scherzer doesn't fit the Angels mold. And you want to know why? Because of Shohei Ohtani. Because of Shohei Ohtani.
John's looking at us weird right now.
Yes, John's looking at us really weird. He's like,
because you have to have a six. You're right. You have to go six things. Yeah, I figured that out.
And so those guys aren't going to throw 200 innings.
Yes, those guys are not going to throw 200 innings. That's first off. So first off, actually, in fact, you can't value pitching the same either. And I'm just this is kind of hitting me now too. You can't value pitching the same in the free agent market. When you think about it, like I guess you could technically value Max Scherzer as that $45 million a year guy, but he's not making the same amount of appearances with the Angels. He's throwing 175 innings. In a sense, correct? Like, I mean, I'm sure they could find a way to make Max Scherzer. It's Max Scherzer. I'm sure they can find a way to make him. But you guys get what I'm saying. These guys just don't fit the Angels mold. That's why Noah Syndergaard fits the Angels mold. That's why Shohei Ohtani fits the Angels mold. Because
Shohei Ohtani created the mold. So
yeah, Shohei Ohtani
had to. But like Michael Lorenzen fits that mold.
Michael Lorenzen fits the mold
Noah
because
Syndergaard
he's a risk.
That mold.
He's very risky, and he's going to throw maybe 100 innings for you, hopefully, right?
130.
130. Exactly. He fits the Angels mold. That's what you have to look for. That's why it's like, oh, Danny Duffy makes sense because he comes back in June and he's going to throw 70 innings for you, hopefully. It's a risk, and it's a good risk. It's calculated risk. Like it makes sense. He comes back in July, he throws 70 innings, 6-man rotation. You keep it a little bit off of the left arm. It just kind of makes sense in a sense to go for those risky guys.
Should I upset you and everyone else?
Go ahead.
There's only one big name starting pitcher who fits that mold who you could have given a lot of money to.
Justin Verlander?
No. It's Trevor Bauer. It's Trevor
Bauer.
Trevor Bauer. The only reason he fits that mold is because he feels that he pitches better on 3 days rest.
Yes.
That's according to him and his body and everything that he does every single week. Mm-hmm. He feels that he throws better on 3 days rest. Absolutely. So you could have 5 guys in the rotation and let him throw every 3 days or every 4th day, and you would get your 190, 210 innings out of Trevor Bauer. He would be happy. He would think he's in the best shape of his life. And the Angels would get 200 innings out of him. But you would also have the circus in the clubhouse, which, we saw how that worked out for the Dodgers last year.
It's tough. So
it is tough.
John, you got anything?
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
I got a question because I thought we might touch on. So the whole Trout moving from center field, which was kind of debunked. But, I mean, doesn't that make sense at some point? I mean, he hasn't finished the season. And I mean, they were all rumors. Nothing was confirmed. Then Mad's all, oh no, he's standing in center field and da. But it's like when I heard that, like Trout saying, if it's true, Trout saying, I prefer to be in center. My choice is to be in center field. But my response in my head was, well, finish the season and then complete a season uninjured or very, and then we can talk about it. But is that not something that should really be considered soon or what?
It was actually considered.
Yeah.
But so what happened was there was speculation from the GM and the owner and Joe. They were all talking about this. They were like, it might make more sense if we shift him to a corner. And Mike Trout walked into the office and said, I think I can still play center field. I want to still play center field. I'm in the best shape of my life. Let me play center field. In a couple of years, maybe we move me to a corner. But right now, I think I can still play center field. And honestly, it might make the Angels a better team because this is about the same time Torrey Hunter had to move off center field. And Torrey Hunter was outstanding, one of my favorite Angels of all time, greatest clubhouse guy the Angels have ever had. Played really, really good defense, Gold Glove winner, all-star guy. Like, he was just perfect. He was like the perfect player that you want. So I could easily see the Angels moving him to left field or right field. Unfortunately, it will not be this year. It'll probably be in 2 years. And it sucks because you would love to have Marsh playing center field every day as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that Trout becomes a better player at a corner position just because that's the one negative thing. I know that Trout's still fast. I know that Trout's still a good defender. I know he's got a good arm. That's like the one negative thing about Trout is that he's not the best defender when it comes to the numbers side of things. So yeah, I think we've talked about this before. I think Trout becomes better when you move him off of center field. Like, he puts up better stats, as weird as that sounds, when you move him out of center field. But
so why aren't they just doing it?
Because it's Mike Trout.
You can't tell Mike Trout now.
It's Mike Trout. It's Tom Brady. It's Peyton Manning. It's LeBron James. Like telling like LeBron James like we're going to start you off the bench. Or we're not going to start you off the bench. We're going to put you on the bench and you're going to come off the bench to play. Or Tom Brady like, hey, we're thinking about putting you at offensive coordinator this year, in a sense. Like that's kind of what it's like. It's like, oh, we're going to move.
You want to know what this reminds me of?
What?
Ichiro Suzuki comes over from Japan, and everyone expected him to play center field. Yeah. First day, he looks at the lineup card, and it's Ichiro leading off and playing center field. He goes up to the manager and says, I'm not playing center field. I want to play 160 games. I'm playing right field.
Yeah.
And the manager was like, what? He was like, I'm playing right field. I don't care what the lineup card says. I'm playing right field. And he played right field every day. He knew it was better for his body. He knew it was better for him and for the team. And that's why he played right field. He was supposed to play center field, though.
Yep. So, well, guys, fantastic show here today, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody so much for listening here. You guys got any final thoughts? I know baseball's back. We're having a lot of fun here talking about this. What do you got, John?
Tommy touchdown. He's back. Brady's back.
If
I had remembered that I had a podcast tonight and didn't just roughly sit down, I'd have my Brady bobblehead and then bring in. I guess next time I'll bring in Gronk because Gronk will be signed by then too because I have both Brady and Gronk. So that's a preview for next time I'm on.
We'll do it on Thursday because guess who's coming on Thursday with us?
Eric.
Who? Ciapala?
The CEO of Talking Halos.
My wife talked to my wife got hired. She's going to be teaching high school Spanish in South Carolina. She already got a job. My wife, she's perfect on job interviews. I think she's had 3. She's nailed each one. So and so she called Derek. We talked to Derek this last weekend about. She was asking for pointers on high school. Because Derek's. I was going to give him a shout out. I'm glad you mentioned him. So he's going to come on. Cool.
Yeah, and so are you. Nate's not coming on. Nate's
traveling. Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah,
he's going to be traveling? Okay.
Getting the old gang back together.
Yes.
Check it out.
So.
Well, have a safe trip, my friend. Where are you going?
Arizona. I might actually catch a game or 2 while I'm out there. So
we'll see.
We'll see. For who?
It looks like the Cubs and Giants fit my schedule the best. They play a Friday night game. So that could be the game that I get to because we have a doubleheader in Arizona on Friday, doubleheader on Saturday. So me and a coaching friend might try and get out there.
There you go.
Really?
Very excited. Wow. Very excited.
So, all right,
that
guys.
sounds very exciting.
All right, guys. So thanks so much for listening here at Talking Halos, making us the best podcast out there. Again, I believe that we are. I don't believe that we are. I know we're the best podcast out there. Just want to throw that out there, not to be cocky or anything. I'm confident with it. I know we are. So, guys, thanks so much for listening. Pound that subscribe button if you're watching us here on YouTube. It's fantastic. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening to it as well. You can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_James. You can follow Nate at NateCrane34 and John at Jegs Crane John. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.